Hey everybody, Dee Dee here with Take 3. I'm here today with special effects guru, Erik Porn. Hey Erik, how are you?
Hi there. I wouldn't say guru, but yeah,
Oh, come on.
more like maniac, but yeah.
Did we get an Oscar? Did the team get an Oscar?
The team did, but I was like, fourth on the totem pole. So it's Greg got an Oscar, which was very cool. So Greg, Kate, and Patty got Oscars. Yeah,
See,
there's
that's awesome.
there was a lot of people on the team too. They had Jamie Kellman, and on our side we had Chris Gallagher and Kenny Myers, and just so many like really awesome people working on that. So I got to learn every day from like really cool people.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was fun.
Talk about this little independent film, creature feature, The Wretched.
Yeah, that one.
Right?
What happened with this? Yeah, that was something we didn't expect to see. Was like all of a sudden everyone's talking about this. Like we were like, well, it might go to VOD, it might do, it might go out on Blu-ray and DVD. And people will be like, oh, I'll rent that at the remaining video store chain, which is like Family Video or whatever. But yeah, we had no clue.
Right? I mean, it just sort of this really crazy timing with the pandemic, and this little movie comes up, and all of a sudden it's in drive-in theaters, it's everywhere, and everyone's talking about the special effects. Tell us how this happened and what did you have to do to create this creature?
Well, it was funny because Chang Seng is a producer friend of mine, and I believe you've probably met Chang many times. Chang came to us and said, we know these men from Michigan, and they're living in LA now, and their dad worked on the original Evil Dead, and they're doing their first kind of big horror film. So we said we should meet with them, and we ended up going to sushi. Me and my business partner Chris Gallagher, we ended up going to sushi with them in Burbank one night. And I think we spent like maybe 10, 15 minutes talking about the movie, and the rest of it, we just kind of hit it off like old Michigan guys, telling stories. But then we were supposed to do the movie that summer. This was like in a February or March. And then something happened with the financing, or they didn't like the way that they were having to finance it. I'm not entirely sure, but then we didn't really hear anything. And then finally, like a year goes by, and we get a call. It's like, yeah, so financing came through. We're going to do the movie. Like, we're going to start shooting like 2 months. Is that enough time? And we were like, well, I guess it sort of has to be at this point. But they had designed what the Wretch, or she was called Hag at the time, because the movie was called Hag originally. But they had designed what she looked like before we had even really got involved. But then she did sort of evolve over the course of everything.
So how long does it take for you to do makeup on somebody for something like The Wretched?
Well, this one we opted out of not doing a creature suit, so we decided to do a head-to-toe prosthetic makeup.
Wow.
Excuse me. We decided just to, for the sake of having to maintain a suit for ease of application and stuff. I mean, usually suits easier, but it also was kind of, the budget was very low, so it was more cost effective to do the body paint and the prosthetics. So she was about 4.5 to 5 hours every night that we did her. Wow. And that was with 2 to 3 artists sometimes. So
well, yeah. And is that typical for sort of a creature feature with prosthetics and special effects?
It really depends on what it is. If it's something where it's a head-to-toe prosthetic, like I remember right before that, we watched Castle Freak, the original Castle Freak, because the new one's not out yet, but we watched the original one, and I'm looking at that full body makeup, and I was like, what have we gotten ourselves into? Because I know that I watched like the Video Zone, and I'm like, well, they're doing 6 hours every day on this, so this is gonna be tough. It's usually you would use a suit if you have a bigger budget. For what she was going to be doing, I thought a suit was going to be a nightmare. She was going to be in the water a lot of times. It was going to be sagging. They just didn't have the budget to do like multiple suits, which would have been needed.
Well, you know, I've seen The Wretched. Obviously, you can't tell that they didn't have a budget for this because she looked amazing.
The whole movie looks like it's a multi-million-dollar movie, and this guy that they got, Connor Murphy, I think this was his first feature that he was director of photography, and he just made that thing look like it was a $10 million movie. And so did Devin Burrows with his score. Just like all those elements really added to the whole thing. But yeah, I have to give a lot of credit to Madeline, who was the Wretched or the Wretch. She was really great, and this was her first movie.
Her first movie ever.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And how? Mm-hmm. So what did she think about all of this makeup every day?
She really dug it. I should say one of her icons is Doug Jones.
Of course.
So she was like, I would love to be another female Doug Jones and just do that kind of thing. And she was fun, and she was partial contortionist. So she was able to do a lot of crazy stuff, but she was always like the most happy, even when she was freezing. And she barely had anything on. I mean, everything that covered her we had foam latex in certain spots that kind of covered her for, safety and whatnot. But she was it was a lot of body paint and prosthetics. So through all that misery, she never complained once.
Wow. That's amazing. And of course, we know Doug Jones as Abe Sapien, Pan's Labyrinth, Shape of Water. I think anybody that wants to do serious creature feature stuff is going to know who Doug Jones is.
Yeah,
right?
And he's the best hugger in Hollywood, I say.
Of course, he's Mr. Precious.
Yeah, he's absolutely an adorable human being and like the nicest guy you could ever work with. So, yeah.
Yeah. So The Wretched, mm-hmm. This amazing creature feature. This comes out next week, right, on DVD, and it's still playing in theaters worldwide at the drive-ins.
Yeah, apparently Chang told me we were number one in Vietnam for a little bit. I said that should be on the box cover, number one in Vietnam. But yeah, I mean, there's like I think it just started in China. It was in Vietnam. I've seen there's a Russian trailer I got sent to me, so I think it's all over the planet right now. It's kind of strange that this little $1.5 million movie would do kind of that business.
Yeah, but it's great. And you know what? Kudos to everybody on the film that made it happen, and for you guys for creating such an amazing woman out of
it was fun. We had on my team was really cool because the straight makeup artist, Bianca Peace, she was the department head of straight makeup, but she also did special effects. So anytime we needed a hand, she had her and Melissa Jimenez. And then on my team, my key was Annie Taggy. So we would be on set. And the nice thing is when you're dealing with a woman who's barely wearing anything, I could actually have the ladies go in and kind of do the modesty covering and stuff before I would come in and help do any application with the face or neck and all that stuff. So it was cool having a regular makeup department head that also did effects. So I could always just say, hey, we need a hand today, and they would handle stuff. It was really kind of cool. We had a great little team on that one.
That's really great. You know, for certain people, that may not know exactly what you can do, I wanted to bring up and show a little example. You and I have been friends for a while, and I wanted to be Georgie for Halloween one year. But I didn't want the typical Georgie. I actually wanted to be one Armed Georgie.
I remember this.
So we talked about this, and I wanted to show people what you do. And this absolutely crazy one Armed Georgie that you
I do
did.
remember that. And who signed it again? Someone signed that too. Was that Andy Muschietti?
So this is great. Yeah, I actually ran into Andy Muschietti at an event in Hollywood and said, "Oh, you don't even understand. I have this costume in my car. This is the craziest thing ever." And he wrote, "Dee Dee, I hope you get your arm back." And he drew.
He drew
And he,
Georgie. Even with the tentacles, he drew Georgie.
yep. And then
It's very
signed it.
Lovecraftian. That's awesome.
Yeah, but I mean, this is absolutely amazing work. I mean, and I was, I actually won a costume or won the prize at my work for
Well, that's cool. I
scariest
didn't know
costume.
about that. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's fun.
yeah. This is amazing stuff. How long have you been doing special effects?
Oh God, I started gluing stuff to my face when I was really young. I watched the making of Michael Jackson's Thriller. Sorry, and I saw them gluing a mask to Michael Jackson. So I thought, well, I've got a mask and I've got glue. So I put dabs of super glue in one of my Halloween masks and stuck it to my face. I was probably, 8 years old or whatever, 7 years old. I just remember the trip to the emergency room to get the glue done. Luckily, it was only a few dabs of glue. I didn't have a lot of glue. Otherwise, I probably would have glued that whole damn thing to my face. But yeah, don't do that at home, kids. That's really stupid. So I would say since I was 7 or 8 years old, probably. But yeah, I didn't know exactly the right way to do things. So always do your research before you do that. No sticking tin cans on your eyes and stuff like I see people doing online now. But yeah, always do your research before you stick anything on your face. But yeah, since I was a kid, I would say.
That's really great. So, what's next?
Um, Hopefully not too long of unemployment. I mean, it's just with the pandemic, nothing's really happening. I mean, I've written a script in pandemic. I have a couple scripts. I'd like to actually. I told Chang I would like to direct something at some point. It would be a lot of fun. I've got a couple ideas, so hopefully, if people get on board, then maybe that'll happen. I'm hoping. We had a couple films at our company, Chris Gallagher and I. The only thing was we started the films and then the pandemic hit. Now, two of the films were canceled because of the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
They had a certain time frame they had to shoot, and then there was another film that was a lower budget one that they can't actually afford the safety procedures, so they have to wait until everything's settled. So at this point, your guess is as good as mine.
I think director Erik Porn sounds pretty good.
Yeah, except for the last name, but yeah. People won't know what kind of film it is.
Well, that'll be the whole, element of surprise. What is director Erik Porn putting out?
I'm taking that word back. I don't care what they say. I'm taking that word back to being a positive thing. But yeah.
Yeah. So during the pandemic, you're doing okay?
Yeah. I've been sculpting. Started the whole weight loss thing and writing, sculpting, doing artwork, drawing. I mean, just trying to stay busy. Otherwise, you kind of go crazy if you don't do something.
Yeah, I've noticed I've spent a little bit more time with my husband than I've cared to.
We're all in that boat, to be honest with you. So yeah. I mean, I wouldn't mind spending time with your husband. He's a good dude. But yeah, I mean, 24/7 with somebody, you can get a little bit crazy and you can get angry. And then the fights become over like, is there jelly in the house? I don't know. Next thing you know, it's like swearing and throwing things. Not really, but it's, it gets
No,
bad.
I mean it's really trying. These days are hard to figure out a balance when you're not used to being together so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Even if you're married, then being together 24/7, it's a little much because usually you both work.
Right.
And with you guys, I know your schedule, you guys work a lot. So yeah.
Yeah, it's been a little crazy.
Yeah. I hope things sort of get back to normal at some point. And you know, we've been doing the best we can, just wearing the masks and distancing. I don't really go out, but then again, I was always a homebody, so I'm just like, well, this was a blessing in disguise. I get to sit back and just work on stuff for months. But when you start seeing the bank account numbers going down, you're like, okay, let's get back to work soon. Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm hoping that we can get back to work pretty soon because I want to see more of this.
So do I. Trust me, I want to work on more of that. I think all of us do.
Right. We want to see more of this from Erik Porn, and hopefully we'll be able to do that soon.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to get back to work. So, yeah.